Are you also confused about what to study and what to skip in UGC NET paper 1? If yes, then watch this video till end. So UGC NET syllabus has three segments. In first segment, I'll be telling you about those topics which have the highest probability and which have always been coming in the UGC NET exam. Then those topics which do not have that much probability but still you cannot afford to skip those topics. Then topics which have less probability of coming in exam, but still if you have time you can cover those topics, because first of all you need to understand that UGC NET paper has 10 units and they are asking 2-3 question on an average from every unit, through which you can understand that you have to cover all the topics at least to some extent. Why? Because if you want JRF, then you need to solve correctly at least 42 to 45 questions, which means you have very less scope of skipping any topic, right? So, first of all, I'll be talking about those topics which have high yield and are always asked: teaching aptitude, research aptitude, logical reasoning, comprehension, and communication. These are the topics which have highest probability and which have always been asked in UGC NET exam. Now, those topics which have medium probability, and secondly you can prioritize them: information and communication technology and data interpretation. You cannot skip them because 5 questions from DI will be there and you cannot afford to lose those 5 questions. If you will leave them, it means you are left with only 45 questions. For JRF, you need at least 43 to 44 questions. Then, out of 45 questions, how will you correct almost 43 to 44 questions to be correct if you don't know anything about DI? So, you cannot skip it. Now, in third segment, I'll be talking about those topics which you have to skim through. First is mathematics, people and environment, higher education system. I'm not saying that questions are not asked from these topics. Definitely, so many questions are asked, but input output ratio is really bad, because you need to put a lot of time and then you are asked very less questions. That two questions are very difficult to be covered. So that's why you have to very selectively give your time to these topics. In my coming videos, I'll be talking about each of these topics one by one, and I'll be telling you what questions have been asked repetitively from these topics. So stay tuned and follow for more.